All right, part two. So, what's the difference between goals and dreams and delusions? Because there are people in your life that we call haters that will come along and say that your big dreams and your big goals constitute delusion. That's not what I'm saying. That is not at all what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should live in, the four walls of stony reality and never dare to dream outside of that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is if you want to be, I don't know, an astronaut, okay? I'm like 6'9", right? Or 2.05 meters for my international brothers and sisters. I'm a big dude, right? Astronauts are basically really, really advanced fighter pilots. Fighter pilots are all little people. The space shuttle is small. Space capsules and stuff are little, okay? Not gonna be a 7-foot astronaut. I'm just not, okay? That doesn't constitute a delusion. That's like saying I want to be president of the United States of America this year. Well, there's not an election this year. Can't do that. That's not a delusion. I mean, that's not me giving up. That's not me being a hater. That's just reality. Stone-faced reality, okay? Can't win a gold medal in a year with no Olympics, all right? So, it does not mean that you're supposed to blindly, mindlessly stay in situations and never change and just keep beating your head against the wall, okay? If you know that you hate your job, if you've always hated your job, and you look ahead, chances are high you're going to keep hating your job, which leaves you two choices. Two, okay? Change it or deal with it. That's the menu. I'm just kind of going to stay here and complain is not an option, okay? Change it or deal with it. Because here's the thing. Whenever you're faced with a choice, whenever you're faced with a situation where you can do something and you choose to do nothing, doing nothing is a choice, okay? Doing nothing is the same as choosing what is, okay? If I think to myself, wow, I'd like to go put on another jacket because I'm cold right now, but then I just sit here afterwards, I'm choosing to keep wearing this sweater. That's the reality of the situation. If you're in a relationship, if you're in a situation, if you're in a predicament of some sort that is unfulfilling and makes you unhappy and yet you do nothing, you are choosing the situation as it is. And if you think you can keep doing the same thing and something different's going to happen, that is not only the definition of insanity, that constitutes a delusion. So, the question becomes then, why is it that you're holding on to this thing? Why is it that you're holding on to this person? Why is it you're holding on to this relationship? Why is it that you're holding on to this situation, this job, this car, this house, this whatever, this self-image, this body image, this way of thinking? Why? Well, I can tell you the chances are it's probably fear. Probably fear. Fear that you cannot do any better. Fear that if you break up, you cannot find a new relationship. Fear that if you quit this job, you cannot get a better one. Fear that if you move out of this house, that you might not be able to find a superior one. And it's going to vary by the situation whether or not that's true. I know more than one person right now that are involved in relationships that are either emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, possibly physically abusive. And they're afraid to leave them because they're like, I can't do better. And I'm like, I don't think somebody who's going to yell, scream, and hit you is that hard to come by. I don't. I mean, we build these things up in our minds like they're the end-all, be-all. We build them up in our minds like they're this huge thing. And quite honestly, if you step back, a lot of these connections we've formed are completely arbitrary. Arbitrary means just whatever, just 'cause, right? You just choose to love this person. And people are like, oh, I can't help it. I love him. I can't control it. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Here's the thing. You may not be able to control your feelings, even though I've shown you lots of times how you can control your feelings. You may not be able to control your feelings, but you can absolutely control what you let those feelings make you do. That's one of the most recent programs that I just put up on peacelovemoney.com. It's in the library. How to get over anyone or anything. And I did another one on how to find love. And another one on how to give up fear. So really, I already helped you beat this. You just may not be aware of it. So peacelovemoney.com. Check in the library. But in the meantime, until you go and pick up my new programs, which are brilliant, you have to look at who you are being and what you are doing, okay? Because what you don't realize is a certain amount of bitterness comes along with this. It goes from she's supposed to love me into getting angry about why doesn't she love me, and the situation becomes increasingly toxic, right? The job becomes increasingly toxic. The relationship with your parents becomes increasingly toxic. What you've got to do is, if you may have heard this quote, it was up on the Jesus and Buddha fan page on Facebook also. That's a really great page, Jesus and Buddha. It's almost as good as my page, but hey. But so I really recommend it, Jesus and Buddha. It's a neat metaphysical community. People talk about kind of some nice stuff where people can kind of exchange ideas without being jerks to one another. I really like their stuff. I repost a lot of it onto my profile on Facebook. One of the quotes that was up there the other day is, "The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences." That's really it. It's hard to be upset about things when you're not really attached to what's going to happen. Rainy days don't depress you if you're not overly attached to sunshine. You know, having chocolate ice cream is not really a drag as long as you don't have your heart set on vanilla. And people say things to me like, well, but it's not that easy. Yes, it really is. It really is. I mean, it really is. It's just a habit you form. That's all. Non-attachment is a habit you form. Now, it's going to be easier with some things than others, you know? I mean, I'm not putting myself out here to be like this calm Zen master. If you've been reading my blog, you know, I mean, hey, I've had some ups and downs lately. I'm human. I have ups and downs. But the difference between me and most people is, instead of just getting utterly crushed by the winds of fate and the buffets of life, I don't. I do my best to just float like a leaf on the river of life, you know, and see where I'm being directed. See where I can act and see where I don't need to act. Because all you can do is all you can do. Okay? There's no point in swimming upstream indefinitely. There's no point in clinging too tenaciously to any one thing. Like, you know, I'm doing this Oprah thing, right? I'm auditioning for Oprah. There's a week left in voting as of this viewing. The voting is cut off on July 3rd. So if you haven't, please go to the OWN TV thing. Actually, probably should get the link off of my website or off of the blog and vote for me. I appreciate it. You can vote multiple days on multiple times each day. So vote as many times as you like, as many days as you can. If you don't live in the United States, you can't vote, but you can leave a comment. The point is, though, if I don't get on this show, if I don't get this chance with Oprah, it's really not that big of a deal to me. Still vote, though. What it means to me is I'm going to do something else. If this is not the door that opens for me, okay, I will keep going until I find another door. If this relationship isn't working, it doesn't mean you have to give up on love. It means there's no point in trying to force love with them. Okay? It means you can find love somewhere else. It means if you step out and you take a chance and you try something and you try and start your own business or something like that and it doesn't work out, it's no big deal. It just means you're going to do something else. Okay? Now, one thing I should say about fear. When it comes to quitting your job, relationships, if it's over, it's over. It's over. Okay? It doesn't matter if you got somebody else lined up. Break up. You're wasting each other's time. Okay? But with jobs, you probably should make sure you've got something else lined up first, because it's hard times out there economically. So if you're unhappy with your job, start looking for a new one. Start sending out resumes right now. If you need to take classes, start taking classes right now. Put a plan together and execute that plan. But realize you've got to give the universe room to surprise you, okay? You don't have to be a control freak. You don't have to hold on and micromanage things, because here's the thing. You can worry or you can have faith. You cannot do both, okay? It is one or the other. Because when you worry about something, you're telling God that God can't fix it. The universe can't fix it. You got to fix it yourself, okay? So be flexible. Relax. And above all else, stop fooling yourself. You know what I'm talking about. Right now, look at me. We only got a few minutes left. Look at me, okay? Look at me. Stop fooling yourself, okay? Let her go. Let him go. Let it go. And then visit my website, peacelovemoney.com. I help you figure it out afterwards, okay? Glad to be back. You're great, and I love you. Okay, bye-bye.